Hey friends, what's up? Welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah from PIESNPROSE, and today I am addressing a question that I've been getting so often lately, and with good reason. I'm going to be talking about why I left my Instagram account that was nearing almost 20,000 followers seemingly out of nowhere. And it was pretty much out of nowhere. I know on your end it must have been super sudden, but it was also really sudden on my end. So I'm going to explain the entire situation. If you're completely not interested in this topic, I totally understand. You can go ahead and click off. I do promise you, if you are part of the vlog fam, that I am going to be going back to my regularly scheduled programming very soon. I just want to get this video out there because a lot of people have been asking questions and I don't want to stay silent for any longer. I just want to get it out there for everyone. I'm going to be breaking this video down into a few sections. So the first section is going to be me giving you a bit of a backstory on my account in general. Then I'll talk about what happened and my reasoning for completely abandoning the account, even though it was seemingly growing. And then I'm going to talk about where I'm at right now with my new Instagram account, which if you haven't heard, I do have a new Instagram account. It's still PIESNPROSE. There's just a dot between the S and the E. And then I'll end the video off by basically giving you some tips, not really tips, but insight on whether or not you should do this as well as someone who is trying to grow their Instagram account, if that applies to you. Let's get started. So like I said, I'm gonna start with the backstory of my Instagram account. So just for your reference, I started my Instagram account around 2016 or so. And at that time, it was PIESNPROSE. It's always been PIESNPROSE. It was during that year that I officially decided that I was going to make this account a Bookstagram account. So in 2016, Bookstagram was relatively new. I think it was very new actually. And I decided, you know what? This is going to be a Bookstagram account. And my goal at the time was to simply grow the account. I didn't have any long-term goals or future about the account other than I just wanted to grow it. And I believe in those first few years, I grew that account to around 14 or 15,000 followers, which was a huge milestone for me. And I officially became sort of like a Bookstagram influencer in that space, in that niche. And it was awesome. I had a great time growing the account. And then in 2019, I got a new job and I got a job in the publishing world. So it was perfect. Everything was just aligning in my life at the time. But the job took over my entire life. It was completely draining me and I didn't really spend a lot of time on my Instagram anymore. And so 2019 was a space for my Instagram account where everything was just stagnant. Nobody was really leaving and unfollowing that frequently. Of course that was happening, but the account pretty much stayed the same. It staggered in the same numbers and engagement and all that good stuff for the entire year of 2019. And then in 2020, I decided, you know what? I want to go back into this Instagram account. I want to take it much more seriously. I really slacked in 2019. And so in 2020, I had a new goal. And that goal was to have PIESNPROSE be a really, really strong focus for me and potentially turn it into something that could be my career. And that continued on into 2021. My account began to steadily grow again, very slowly but consistently. And so by the end, nearing the end of 2021, my followers were at the highest point that it's ever been. And that was about 18.8 thousand followers. So by the end of the year, by the end of 2021, I was fully expecting to get to 20,000 followers. And by the end of 2021, I had a really, really ambitious goal of going full-time. So that's pretty much the backstory, and that backstory ends at around August to September of 2021, so not that long ago. You'll also notice on my YouTube channel that I started posting a bunch of Instagram growth videos because I felt like I was really slaying it. I was really killing it in the Instagram game, and I wanted to share my expertise with all of this consistent growth that I was having while a lot of people were struggling with Reels and all of these updates and stuff like that. So if you're from the YouTube specific fam, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I had a video go viral even. That's why you see a lot of those Instagram growth videos during 2020 and 2021. Things got complicated. Basically, I went on my Instagram account. I posted like I always do. I started getting a very, very low amount of engagement. And when I say it was very low, I mean it was shockingly low to a point where I felt concerned immediately. And this happened over the course of just 1 week. So I'll give you a real life example, and you can actually see this on my Instagram account, my old one, if you go and see. I would post something on my feed and it would get thousands of likes, it would get hundreds of comments, I would be getting hundreds of views on my Instagram stories, I'd get replies, lots of engagement, all good things. And then in the matter of a week, you'll see that it just went from thousands, hundreds, and etc. to maybe 100 likes on a post, maybe a handful of comments on a post. I would get maybe a couple hundred of people seeing my Instagram stories, no one really engaging with me. So this concerned me, this scared me a lot, and it immediately was like a red flag for me because I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen such a drop in engagement that rapidly and that drastically. Now, like I said, I've had this account since 2016, so I know what it's like when an account is struggling. I know when there are ups and downs with an account. I have struggled so much with this account and all of the new updates that have happened over the course of, 4+ years. So I know what it looks like when an account is struggling. This was something different. This is something that I've never ever seen before. And it was very frightening, especially when I was nearing the end of 2021 and I had this goal of taking this full time. That fear set me into some sort of panic mode, and I started doing some really extensive research into what was going on with my account. Long story short, I came to the conclusion that I have possibly been shadow banned, and I say possibly, I didn't know for sure, and I still don't know 100%, because if you know anything about shadow banning, Instagram refuses to admit that this exists. However, some shadow banning things happen, and then there's no explanation for it. So that's where I thought my account was at. And if you don't know what shadow banning is, it's essentially something that happens with the Instagram algorithm where your account gets flagged for something and Instagram thinks that you're in violation of their policies or whatever it may be. And then they purposely hide your account from followers. They do not push your account. They don't boost your posts or anything like that. And essentially it sends your account into the graveyard. And again, they do not confirm that this exists. But when things like this happen, you start to wonder, does it really not exist, or is the impossible happening to me right now? So that's why I don't say I'm 100% sure that I've been shadow banned, but pretty sure that I got shadow banned. And if you're wondering what you think I did, if you're thinking, what could you have possibly done to be in violation of Instagram's terms, policies, etc., it's very easy to come off and look like spam in the eyes of Instagram and their algorithm. They don't see you as a human, these algorithms, they see you as an account, and they might flag you for something as simple as liking posts way too fast. Now, I'm about to be completely transparent with you. I did do something that I believe was the trigger. So I engaged in an engagement pod. If you don't know what an engagement pod is, it's essentially a group chat in your DMs of your Instagram. You group together with a bunch of Instagram accounts, and everybody in that group chat is basically obligated to engage on everyone's posts whenever they post every single day. It is not a good idea to be part of an engagement pod. This is something that is flagged as spam for Instagram or robot behavior, and Instagram tries to focus on genuine interactions with other accounts, so they do not like engagement pods. The reason why I joined the engagement pod to begin with is because this engagement pod was full of bookstagrammers. So it was like-minded creators, and we were all genuinely chatting with each other. We were all genuinely interacting with one another. So I didn't think it was going to be a big deal, but that is literally the only thing that I've ever done on that account that I could possibly think of that would be in violation of Instagram's terms and policies. So that is what I think was the trigger for me. Now, I didn't just stop right there and say, okay, I've been shadow banned, let's just jump ship and start all over again. I took my research even further. I checked all of my analytics, I tracked my analytics, and I even tracked my engagement rate, which is something that's really important if you're going to be a creator on social media. If you have a high engagement rate on Instagram, that means that you'll get a lot more sponsored posts, because engagement rate basically means that a lot of your followers are engaging with you. In my research, I saw that I was steadily losing followers, steadily losing engagement, and my engagement rate, which was originally at 4.5%, which is fantastic, by the way. You kind of want to be in that 3 to 5% range. went from 4.5 to 1% in a matter of a week. So I knew for sure something happened and something really, really bad happened. Taking my research even further, I reached out to friends, longtime friends that I've had on Instagram who have had accounts for many years as well. Some of them actually admitted that they don't see my posts anymore, and they hadn't seen my posts for a month at a time. They would have to deliberately search me, or I would have to DM them, or I'd react to their stories and they'd be like, oh my gosh, let's see what she's up to. And then they would realize they missed a whole month's worth of my posts because they just weren't seeing them on their feed anymore. Which is wild to me because these are longtime friends. Like I said, I've interacted with them for years, and yet they weren't seeing my posts. So just imagine what that sort of situation would be like for a follower that doesn't really talk to me that much. I would basically be non-existent to them. Taking my research even further, I was not letting go of this account easily, y'all. I started it many years ago. I needed to be really, really educated in my decision. I reached out to a social media professional, someone who has been in social media marketing for many years. By the way, sorry for the lighting. The sun is just coming in and out whenever it chooses. I apologize. Let me see if I can fix that. Okay, I think that's better. Sorry about that. Anyway, so I reached out to the professional. The professional was super, super honest with me. And they said, okay, here's what to do. Tell me first, before we get started on this, have you joined any engagement pods? It was so interesting that their first question was that, because yes, I was in an engagement pod. I told the person, yes, I was in an engagement pod. I removed myself immediately once I started noticing something bad was going on. And the person said, okay, that's probably the reason why you're having issues right now. And it is possible to revive your account, but it might also not be possible. And so what the professional suggested that I do, continue to post like I always do, post consistently, work really hard, try to gain back that traction, that engagement, and see if things improve. If things do improve after a month, then there's a possibility that your account can be revived. If not, if you're starting to see things still stay very low or decline or no movement at all, then it's probably time to move on and start over again. So I don't think it's a surprise what comes next. I posted for 6 weeks. I posted consistently. I even had some sponsored posts. I worked my butt off to try to revive this account in 6 weeks. And it didn't work. My account stayed pretty much dead. I was losing followers every single day at high volumes. The engagement just never went up. And honestly, I would say the engagement got even worse over the course of 6 weeks, even though I removed myself from all of those engagement pods. That is where I made the really, really tough decision to abandon the account. Like I said, at the time I was at like 18.8 thousand followers. With all this research and all of this explanations set aside, emotionally, this was extremely hard. And I think that was the hardest part, was emotionally detaching myself from an account that I put so much work into. It is probably the second commitment that I've ever made in my life that I've really, really stuck to, and I've loved every minute of it. And the last bit of me to make the switch into the new account was from an emotional stance, because I really just didn't want to let go. I was constantly thinking, what if this, what if that, what am I doing? I really wanted PIESNPROSE to be my career by the end of 2021. And here I am in October 2021, a couple months away from the end of the year, deciding to abandon everything. It was hard. It was very, very hard. And a lot of people have been asking me, like, how hard was it? Like, how did you come to the decision to just do this? All of that research just pinpointed to the fact that this account was dying and it wasn't going anywhere. I sort of had this feeling like, if I continue to post on this account, I'm posting to a dead account. Like, what is it going to be down the road? I'm just going to have a dull, dying account. So I was only talking to a fraction of people, like just 100, maybe 100 people out of this nearly 20,000 follower account. Like, that didn't seem worth it to me. It seemed like it would probably be better if I just started over again. I also thought, yeah, an 18.8 thousand follower account, nearing 20,000 followers, that's huge, that's monumental. But in this day and age, in 2022, social media moves fast. Starting from scratch doesn't have to sound like a bad thing. Starting from scratch can be a great thing. I can start over, I can start fresh, I can build up a really strong audience and community, and it'll be fine. I will have to let go of a former community, but this is something that I have to do for the future of my social media presence if this is something that I want to become a career. All of these things are going on. I know nobody noticed this was going on because I did not share a single thing. I was doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff from like September into November of 2021. And so yeah, I was struggling a lot for those few months, even though I was posting consistently and, you know, putting up a good face for the account, hoping that I could revive it. So I hope that makes sense for people. I hope that puts things into perspective. That comes to November 2021 when I officially announced that I was leaving PIESNPROSE, that original account, and moving on to a new account. Now I'll also say behind the scenes, I created that account back in September, October, and I kept it secret. I kept it hidden. I was very fascinated by the fact that that account was being suggested to a bunch of my existing followers on my original account. While my large account was being like plummeted, this brand new account with 0 followers was being suggested to everyone. So I just found that to be interesting. So I made the announcement in November of 2021. So emotional because I was so scared that no one was going to see the post. No one was going to even notice that I moved. And then it would have been obviously validating in the fact that, yeah, the account really is dead, but also no one will know what has come of my account and where I'm going and what I'm doing, especially because I built a community on PIESNPROSE. It felt heartbreaking and scary. And then when I made the announcement, hundreds of people, I mean, that's not a lot in comparison to almost 20,000 followers, but hundreds of people immediately went to the new account. They immediately were like, yes, we're joining you on this new journey. Let's do this. And I'll just tell you right now, and I'm gonna try not to cry, but that moment was so important to me. I even recorded myself crying. I think I'm crying right now, but I recorded myself crying that day because the amount of support that I got when I made the switch, you have no idea how impactful that was for me behind the scenes, freaking out, thinking that I lost everything that I built over the past 4 to 5 years. So thank you if you're one of those people that showed me support on that day. I needed it so much. And if you choose to ever watch this video and follow me on the new account, know that every single person that joins me there has made an impact on my future, because I'm looking at this in terms of long term. It's not just, this is my account and this is what I have. I look at this account as my future. Sorry to be sappy, but it just means a lot to me, and thank you. I wouldn't have anything like this if it weren't for you. So here I am now with the new Instagram account, and it's been a couple of months and it has been such a fantastic experience. If we're talking about numbers, I'll tell you that my engagement rate on this account, which has I think almost 450 followers at the time of me recording this, has an engagement rate of about 22%. That's astronomical. That is unheard of. And granted, the reason why it's so high is because my follower count is so low. The engagement rate steadily gets smaller as your account grows, because that's just the nature of how this works. But 22% is astronomical. And in comparison to the 1% on my 18.8 thousand follower account, I'm still reaching more people with this smaller account. So just to put things in perspective there, that's incredible, and that makes me so happy. That means that I'm doing well with this account so far, even though it's very tiny, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with starting over. I'm okay with slowly and steadily growing this account if that means that I'm going to be reaching more people and connecting with more people and creating a community that is very tight-knit, and it means something. It has substance to it, and it's not just about, oh, you have a big account. It's more like you have a big impact, and that matters the most to me, honestly. So yes, this account is doing fantastically. I plan on growing it. I have a goal for this account to reach 10K followers by the end of the year. So I'm giving myself a pretty loose goal, but I also have a tighter goal of maybe trying to achieve 1,000 followers a month. Again, that is just, you know, guidelines to help me keep going, to push that momentum, but we'll see what happens. All that matters now is that I'm working really, really hard, and I want this new space to be a great space for not just myself, but those who join me on my journey. And if you haven't noticed, yes, the niche that I'm part of now on this new Instagram account is not Bookstagram. So if you are a Bookstagrammer and you're thinking that this new account is going to be Bookstagram forward, it is not. I have shifted niches to something a little bit more broader so that I can express myself in a way that I feel is most accurate. And that is lifestyle, but with a focus on slow, simple, cozy vibes. So a lot of stuff from my original account has carried over, but it's not a Bookstagram account. It's a lifestyle account. I want to post about things that are going on in my life because that's what's true to me and that's true to my journey right now. Just getting that out there because I do know that I had a lot of die-hard Bookstagrammers on my original account, and I'm sure they do not want to follow me on this new account because it's not Bookstagram, which is fair. You do you. That's totally fine with me, and I respect that. I will also say as a disclaimer, this is why I haven't been posting any Instagram growth videos here on YouTube. So if you're a subscriber here that joined me because of those Instagram growth videos, I will not be posting any more of those Instagram growth videos anymore because I have started from scratch. And so I do not feel like I'm an expert in the field anymore. I do not feel like I have the authority to give people tips. I'm growing alongside a lot of other people who are just starting out as well. I'm more so taking a backseat on that and just letting the professionals do their thing. Okay, so all in all, I do not regret my decision. I am a little bit heartbroken still. I still have nostalgia over my previous account, and some days I do wish I could just go back to that large following account. I feel like just for one reason only, and that reason is that brands want to work with me on that platform because of that high number. But I know deep down what matters is the community, not just the numbers. And so all in all, I do not regret my decision. I will end this off by giving you a little bit of insight on whether you should do this as well, because I know there are some people that watch my videos who also want to grow their platform. They want to grow their Instagram account. And I know I have a lot of longtime friends who've had their account for years and they're starting to feel like they are being sent into the Instagram graveyard as well. So many of my friends have reached out to me after I made the switch, and I'll say this: it depends. I know that's not the answer that people want to hear. You want a definite answer, but I'm telling you, it depends. And I do not want to give somebody the advice of just up and leaving their big account just because I did it and it's working out for me. Going back to the previous part of this video, I said I did a lot of extensive research. So it depends because you need to make an educated decision for your own account. Everyone's account is different and you need to know for sure why you're doing this. Is this worth doing? And is this going to help you in the long run? Just make sure that you're doing a really, really educated decision. All right, y'all, I hope this video was interesting, insightful, whatever it may be. Let me know if it is in the comments down below, or give a like to this video. It lets YouTube know that I'm doing a good job. My camera is about to die, so I'm going to wrap this up really quick. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much if you supported me on my new Instagram account. I'm telling you, every single message, comment, like, follow on that new account has meant so much to me, and you are part of this journey that I am excited to take for a very long time. So thank you so much if you have been supporting me in any type of way, whether it's here on Instagram, TikTok, my email newsletter, whatever it is. Thank you. I love you. I'll talk to you in next week's video.